Hey folks, welcome back to another edition of Under Further Review with me, Noel Granada. In these segments, I'll be giving you a quick look at each team going into the 2013 season. I'll be talking about last season, the off-season, the draft, player positions, and can they make the playoffs. Today on my board, we have the San Diego Superchargers from the AFC West Division. So let's look at what happened last year. They went 7-9, didn't make the playoffs for the third straight year. Norv Turner and A.J. Smith are fired. Ryan Matthews disappoints along with injuries, and Phillip Rivers in the offense ranks 31st in total offense. The offseason. Well, Charger fans finally got their wish for Norv Turner and A.J. Smith to be finally being fired. So this begins a new rebuilding era process that's kind of foreign to the Chargers. Let's start out with new GM and head coach Tom Telesco and Mike McCoy, both in their 40s and ready to bring back an old football team to life as a young team. I really like the move the Chargers made in starting fresh for the better. They are going to draft and develop kind of in that route sense, so it's the only way to keep your team fresh and young. So they let a lot of people go in the free agency this year, and so this puts bigger impact on the young guys to step up. The offseason, they also lost Melvin Ingram at linebacker, who I was very eager to see play this year, really early in this offseason. And Jonas Mooten, who I don't even know who he is. I think he's a linebacker. It doesn't really matter. And, of course, Phillip Rivers is on a hot seat this year because of his ability to turn the ball over so often. So there's a lot of holes going into the season. But they have done things that I like that make their future bright. My favorite picks from the draft. I think the Chargers had a great draft, and that's only positives with the Telesco and McCoy team. So my favorite picks came down to two, which were obviously the first round pick in DJ Fluker and the second in Manti Te'o. So DJ Fluker is just a monster. This guy's huge. There's just no wrong going with this guy. I really like the pick. He definitely will help the run game for the Chargers. Not that great of a pass protector, but is quick for his size and can help this team improve on the line. And then there's Manti Te'o that I really liked. He's smart. I think he could be the next great linebacker in San Diego. He's a tough guy. Hopefully we can leave the issues with the whole girlfriend scandal behind him, and you can definitely sense that he can be a leader on this defense. Positions. Quarterback. Phillip Rivers. You need to stop turning the ball over. I know you've had a crappy pass protection, but you need to protect the ball better. There's no excuses for it. I'm surprised that he's been able to stay healthy with just this awful line protecting him. That's pretty good for a guy who isn't mobile. So I want to call him elite, but I don't know. He's kind of fallen out of the elite talks as far as the last 3 seasons have gone. Let's just say he's in purgatory. He was able to throw at least over 3,500 yards and 26 touchdowns, and I applaud him for that. But he needs to win games. That's the most important part. Stats don't really matter if you're not winning games. I don't know if he's just been frustrated with this line and just figures he's not getting any time to pass back there, so he's just trying to make something happen. I think this line could be a little bit better, and I'm hoping that somewhere down the line Phillip Rivers can go back to the player I used to know in 2009. Running back. Well, Ryan Matthews for me continues to disappoint me every year. What looked to be a promising NFL back to be a next star in San Diego has just completely fallen because of his constant injury woes. Let's see. Last year he broke his collarbone against the Packers in the preseason game, and he came back to only rush for a small 257 yards. He needs to turn things around fast because he is also on the hot seat, I think. I did like the addition of Danny Woodhead to help in the backfield with Ronnie Brown and Leroy McClain, but Matthew needs to be the man. Time to step up, buddy. Wide receivers. I love the talent at this position. Malcolm Floyd has been solid, but could obviously produce more than what he's been producing and needs to stay healthy. Then there's Denario Alexander, who just came out of nowhere to lead the wideouts in touchdowns with 7 halfway through the season and averaging 17.8 yards a catch. Problem is, though, he just tore his ACL. So he's done for the season. Great. But there's Vincent Brown, who is coming back after missing last year, and I'll have my eye on him to produce because he can make plays. Finally, there's Antonio Gates. Obviously, I'm a fan of this guy. He can just make plays too. Sure, he's been getting old, but this guy gets it done. He is just a fun player to watch, and hopefully he can get a Super Bowl soon. Also, look after Keenan Allen from Cal, who might just squeak in for a starting spot this year. Offensive line. Rivers was sacked 49 times last season, and now the only guy returning on this line is center Nick Hardwick. This is a worrisome group for me, and the Chargers need this fixed pronto. I love Fluker. He should start, but everyone else seems to be fighting for a spot on this O-line, so cross your fingers, Chargers, and hope for the best. Defensive line. Now, I really like this defensive line for this year, and Corey Liuget and Kendall Reese, who are really starting to blossom well into this defense, are playing great. These guys are the foundation on this defense. Nose tackle Cam Thomas is the only returner for the nose tackle position, so he'll need to stay healthy because there really isn't much depth behind him. So staying healthy for him is going to be a key factor for the Chargers' success on defense this year. Linebackers. Well, losing Melvin Ingram really hurts the Chargers, which I was anticipating to watch this year, but they still have a great unit this year. They have Donald Butler, who's solid, and inside with him will be Manti Te'o. I think they will mesh together fine. Jarrett Johnson and Larry English will start on the outside. English unfortunately needs to have the better year and step up. He was starting to look like a bust from the draft. He's only had 1.5 sacks from last year. So better play needs to come from him. Secondary. Kason is gone, and so was Quentin Jammer due to just awful pass protecting. They were just terrible. So they brought in Derek Cox from Jacksonville, who will obviously start. Sharice Wright or Marcus Gilchrist will probably start opposite of Cox, so that will be battled out in the training camp this year. Eric Weddle, on the other hand, is a stud at the free safety position, and either Darryl Stuckey or Brandon Taylor will play alongside of him. I think this secondary will be much improved with Kason and Jammer gone. Maybe they were the problem. Special teams. Well, kicker Nick Novak and punter Mike Cyphers remain solid in the kicking game, so these guys get it done. Michael Spurlock will be returning hopefully and be feeding off of what last year when he ran touchdowns in punt and kickoff returns in the last 2 games of the season. Can they make the playoffs? I'm going to have to say no, and here's why. The key is the line, obviously, for the Chargers this year. How will they perform with this patched line? I mean, it's really hard for everything to be just clicking in an instant when only one starter is coming back from this team. So what's even worse is Phillip Rivers isn't a mobile QB. He needs protection for him to do what he does best, and if that won't happen, we will see just stuff that's been happening for the last 2 years, and him forcing throws and being very careless with the football. And the other thing is, Matthews needs to carry this team this year. This is it for Matthews, I think, and it should be. The Chargers need to run the ball better this year, and they need consistent running play. They can't be one-dimensional passing the ball because they can't run the ball. So if they can't get that going, Chargers will be putting up goose eggs all over in the rankings like last year. So, I mean, they finished second to last in offense and everything. So that needs to get fixed with the running game. And then there's the division, which isn't in favor of them at all. I already got Denver winning the division and a huge talented Kansas City team on the rise. So they play Denver and Kansas City twice, which could already equal 4 losses to their season. I think they can beat the Raiders, obviously, but I would bet on the rest of the schedule. These teams are going to be very tough for the Chargers to beat this year. All in all, the line determines the fate of the Chargers this year. If they don't get it done like I think they won't, there's just no way the Chargers can do anything really in 2013 and kind of just gear up for kind of a subpar year. I think the Chargers will have one more slump like this year, to go through before the Chargers are recharged and hopefully lighting up the sky in next year's season. And with that, my football fans, ends my segment on the San Diego Chargers. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me your comments below and subscribe to my new football series. The next teams I'll probably be taking on will be the AFC North teams, so I'll keep you guys posted anyway. So see you later, football fans.